my dad's racist, do alls and all that, right? But the same people that are saying that he's racist are the ones doing racist stuff to me. If any of you guys know Officer Samson Najir, arrested me a few years ago for no reason. I was in booking for 10 hours. They released me with no charges or nothing because I didn't do nothing illegal. I had another officer.
Mr. West, I'm going to have to ask you, can you keep this to the resolution?
Okay, yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
But what I like, you guys want to stop racism. In my belief, stop racism, I'm pretty sure a lot of it happens from parents teaching their kids, oh yeah, this is what you do, this is not what you do. This is what you do, this is not what you do. And there is some officers that are racist, so how can you stop racism on the street if you can't stop it by having knowing racist parents teaching their kids racism? These kids are gonna grow up learning that. You know, I grew up in Portland. I'm 24 or 23, about to be 24 soon. Look, I lived in Portland like 20 years of my life. I ran into 6 racist encounters. 2 of them by officers, 4 of them by civilians. You know, my dad, he gets along with preachers of prayer. If they get along with him, I'm pretty sure they're not racist. Nazis, they don't get along with people that get along with another race. My dad has a kid with a Mexican. And to be honest, when my dad first married her, she used to be illegal. She got her paperwork, she became a citizen. She's a law-abiding citizen, she's a Christian. If you even met her, you would respect her. Everybody that meets her respects her because she always treats everybody with respect, you know? A lot of my family, they go through a bunch of racism, a lot of my friends. And it's not just from civilians, it's from police too. But I'm not saying all police are racist. Not all of them are racist. I've seen some good police officers, I've seen some bad ones. You know, just like civilians, there's good and bad civilians. But I believe a lot of the racism gets taught down by the parents teaching their kids their racist ways. And yeah, I believe it should stop. You know, I've been attacked over racism stuff like that. My dad's been attacked, like by verbally. You know, I don't agree with racism. And to be honest, I don't really like saying skin color like black, yellow, white, because that's still my opinion is still racism because you're judging or you're saying a person by their skin color. There's people like, I have a roommate, he's African. Oh, he's African American, he's a citizen now, but he was originally from Africa, from Ethiopia. You know, I have friends that are Mexican, I have friends that are, you know, Asian, I have friends that are Islander, I got friends of all kinds of races. I don't say, oh, I have a brown friend, I have a yellow friend, I have a white friend, I have a black friend. You know, I tell them by their races, because if you mention it by the skin color, that's when it starts becoming racist. When you start naming them by their ethnicity, their race, it's not really racism because that's their race. That's who they are. And you should be proud of who you are.
Thank you.
Yes, my name is Robert West, and lately I've joined the Patriots of Prayer. I was told all I gotta do is say I am, and I am. And I don't consider the Patriots of Prayer racist. I met Joey Gibson, I talked to him several times. He's a Christian guy. Okay, he may not have the same beliefs and philosophies as other people, but he stands by his beliefs. Okay, under the U.S. Constitution, regardless if you like it or not, people have a right to their beliefs. Okay, I don't like the resolution. I'll tell you why. Because there is nothing in this resolution that says what a racist is, what a racist group is, what an alt-right group is. Who's going to make that determination? Does City Council make that determination? Does the police make that determination? Does the state make that determination? What is a racist group? What is an alt-right group? And that's what I'm curious about. What do you guys consider Patriot Prayer alt-right? Do you guys consider the Proud Boys alt-right? Do you consider the Hammerskins alt-right? So the question is who's going to determine what these groups are? Okay. Second of all, is you need to determine if it's a gang that you're looking at or an individual. If they qualify under a gang, if you say, okay, this resolution is against gangs, then you need to determine what a gang is. Under the ORS, 5 people committing a crime can be considered a gang. So the question for you guys is, like I said, it was poorly wrote up because no one knows and no one has any authority as to who's alt-right and who's not. Who, you know, can any of you guys say for a fact that Patriot of Prayer is an alt-right group? Okay, what if they say, well, we're not an alt-right group? Okay, who's there to make that determination? Well, yeah, you're an alt-right group. Who's going to make that determination? It's a nice resolution. It's wrote up to make Portland look good, and we're against racism. But it has no authority whatsoever. It's like, you know, Portland police have a gang unit. Okay, they have one officer that's assigned to white supremacist organizations. They have 40 assigned to
Appreciate
black
that.
and Hispanic
That's our
groups.
public testimony for today. Thank you.
Any further discussion before we call the roll? I just want to make one point of clarification. The last testimony we heard does not apparently reflect anything that is actually in this resolution. And I want to just be very clear about that. Carla, please call the roll.
So it's both my challenge and my honor to bring us back to why we're here. And I want to remind us all about Nicole Grant's speech at the beginning of this hearing and how very moving that was. And I appreciate very much your work on this resolution, along with the Senator Lawrence in Commissioner Fisher's office, Cynthia Castro in my office, Quincy Johannes in Commissioner Daly's office, all women of color who have experienced this on a daily basis for as long as they've been in Portland, as well as Derek Bradley in Commissioner Hardesty's office. So thank you for helping us understand what would be helpful and for putting in words some of the history that we need to acknowledge, that we are acknowledging today. Because yes, there are lots of hateful people in Portland in our country, and yes, there is a great need for us all to unite and to emphasize love. And we have to recognize the history of this city and of this country, and of white people nationwide, worldwide. I am not proud of many of the things that my ancestors did from England, and the colonization, the slavery, the invasion of this country, the annihilation of the Native American people. I'm not proud of any of those, and I'm sorry for all of them. I'm sorry for what happened in Portland, what has happened in Portland over the last 200 years. And it's up to us to acknowledge these hurts, and they're not the hurts of yesterday. They are ongoing hurts. There is ongoing lack of wealth in for people of color in Portland because of not being able to own property in the right places or keep property in, because of not being able to get education and jobs, because of having higher incarceration rates, poorer health outcomes. All of the things that we have been acknowledging actively since 2010, when Mayor Adams and I heard the community and decided to move forward with establishing an equity program within the city of Portland to change the way that the city of Portland, the 6,000 people who work for the city of Portland, acknowledge and understand and work to make reparations on the hurts that have been done by the city council in the past. And we're not nearly where we need to be. Our community is not where it needs to be, and our community is so divided with all of the horrible things that are happening both in our country and worldwide. And that's why we have to come together, to unite, to say what we do believe in. And part of what we do believe in is that this pretense that it's that racism doesn't exist, or because I have an ex as a friend and or family member, I'm therefore not racist. We need to acknowledge and correct and move forward. And I particularly appreciate that this resolution is not only a statement of our values. And it is important to state our values. And it's important that all 5 of us have been a part of creating this resolution, and that we are all supporting it today. we have community advisors in many different places in the city who do us the honour of forgiving the fact that we haven't done a very good job of community engagement in the past. We haven't necessarily included all communities. And now we have the New Portlanders Policy Commission, and we have the Human Rights Commission, and many other citizen bodies who are willing to give us, the council, that chance to make amends, and I appreciate that. So thank you to the Human Rights Commission in particular, who we last year denounced white supremacist groups and reaffirmed their commitment to dismantling structural racism in our city per the articles of the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Thank you, Alan Lazo, previous chair of the Human Rights Commission, now from the Portland United Against Hate. Thank you for all of the groups that have come together since the fall of 2016 to make sure that we do talk to each other more, work together more, and stick together more. I do acknowledge that some people may be concerned that this resolution is just empty words. If you go to the 1900 buildings, look at the 1900 buildings where the Bureau of Development Services is. Look at the placard honouring former city employee and Army veteran Rick Best, who was killed standing up to hate during the Max incident nearly 2 years ago. The placard reads, "I can't stand by and do nothing. Neither can we, and we won't." Finish.
Well, I got up a minute ago and made a phone call because something popped up on my phone, and today we announced that a very distinguished candidate for a high city office had accepted the position. She's the Deputy Commissioner for the Parks and Recreation System in New York City, and a first in her class, if you will, youngest ever to be Borough Commander, first woman to the position. You know, I think we give people a lot of latitude when they make comments, but someone chose this moment to attack her based on what they perceive to be her race and her sexual orientation. And as I said to the reporter, even by the loose guidelines of your newspaper, you need to take that down. Because it's not in the public record, it's not appropriate, and it's just completely inappropriate for someone to write such a thing. So if we need a reminder, and I don't often look to the comment section of the newspapers because I think that's in the area that sometimes operates below the sewer. It is, in fact, where some people anonymously feel comfortable sharing things, which I think give us something of the temperature of our times. This has been a long week for us, and a week in which the council has stepped up and done some of its finest work. And here's a little secret about this council, and it's been the same my entire 10 years. We do our best work when all 5 members of the council are engaged, and when we can build consensus. There's nothing particularly noble about a 3-2 vote or a closely divided issue. What I often conclude from some of the sort of more conflicted votes that we have is that I wish in retrospect we had more time to build a consensus, which is always within our reach. It takes the time and the humility to engage people's perspectives, and when we do that, we get to a better place. I'm extremely proud to be on a council that is going to vote 5-0 in support of this resolution. I gave my closing statement as an opening statement, so I won't bore you with the speech a second time, although it probably reads better the second time. I will say this. I listened very carefully, not only to Nicole's beautiful statement, and Nicole handles the hardest portfolio in the mayor's office and probably ends up getting the most crap on a daily basis of any staff person. And I think what she's hearing from this day is how proud we are about what she did today and her comment and the way she spoke from her heart and shared her story. We can agree or disagree about issues that come before this dais, but we can also take a moment to be proud of a public servant that's willing to come forward and share her story. And we should acknowledge that. But here's the, in addition to thanking Senna Lawrence, Senna, would you raise your hand, please, who is my policy advisor and works so hard on this resolution with each of our offices and staff. I have a special request. I think someday people are going to look back on this resolution in this moment and say that maybe, and this is what I hope, we chose a different and novel path for how we were going to address a number of related issues in our community. And many of the people who testified today have very strong views about how to deal with disruptions on our streets and the rise of hate